Hey everyone, Josh here. In this introductory lesson, I'm just going to give you an overview of what we're going to cover in the career coaching course. And just keep in mind that with all of these courses, I've got an initial plan of what to go through based on my experience with people asking questions and my own personal experience, but I will be adding to this as we go along. So as you're going through the course, if you have questions on specific things or you'd like me to go into a little bit more detail on a specific area, just let me know, and I'll be probably recording some bonus lessons as we move forward. So I'm going to do an overview here, and then I'll just talk through really quick some of my background, my experiences, deeper than I really have anywhere else, so you'll get kind of a sneak peek into my very diverse background in terms of how I got into project management and some different things there. So after this introduction, we're going to talk about your starting point. So where are you starting from? And depending on, and really what I'm trying to do is to get you to think about where you're coming from. So your background, your experience, what skills do you have that might be applicable in the project management field? Are you coming from a background of managing people or not, from a technical background or not? We'll talk about some personality traits and things. Project managers come in all personalities, but we'll talk about, if you're personality type, A, then you're going to have to think about some things when it comes to project management, and if you're personality type B, then it'll be a different set of things that you'll have to think about because things come naturally to people. Career goals is definitely something that I want to touch on. So I want to get into defining very clearly what is it. So now that we know very clearly where you're coming from, and sometimes it's writing it down on paper or really thinking through it kind of opens your eyes to some things. But on the career goals, where do you want to go? So here we're talking about, do you want to do IT or non-IT projects? Is IT something that you want to be able to do? Because a lot of projects do have some piece of them that's IT. What industry do you want to work in? Do you want to stay in the industry that you might have some experience with? Do you want to, what kind of organization do you want to work in? Do you want to work on small projects or large projects? Those are the types of things that we'll talk about in the career goals section. Education, we'll talk about some degree programs that are available, certifications, certificates, training online and offline. The certifications is something that I'm excited about because what I've decided to do is bring on some experts from different backgrounds to talk about these different certifications. So rather than me trying to talk about all of them, because I know a lot about the PMP and the CAPM exams from PMI, but I'm definitely not an expert on the ITIL exam, the ITIL certification, the IPMA certification, Prince 2, some of those that I know a little bit about them, but I don't know a whole lot. So what I decided to do is bring on people who do know quite a bit about those certifications. So I've got Frank Turley, who's a Prince 2 trainer, talking to us about Prince 2 and specifically about the new edition of Prince 2 that's available. And with all of these interviews, I've asked them questions that really focus on for brand new people who don't know anything about it. So this might be the first time that you've heard of ITIL or IPMA or Prince 2. We're going to talk through those from your perspective so that you understand, is this a certification that I should be worried about? Is it something that I want to do? Do I even qualify to sit for it right now? Is it something that I want to even think about right now, or is that like 5 years down the road? We'll talk through all those things. So that's a lot of great information that I wish I would have had when I got started in 2004. Let's see. Next, we'll look at gaining experience. So here we'll talk about volunteering within your own organization and outside in other organizations, project management organizations, nonprofits, those types of things. Opportunities with branching out within your own career. And I've got some experience here as a past developer and a team lead, branching out and kind of I've got a history of taking a role that I've been hired for, and kind of melding and morphing the role into a little bit more what I want it to be. So where I'm doing the job that I was hired for, and then I'm also doing some things to advance myself in a direction that I want to go with my career path. So we'll talk about that. So the next one is career path. So we'll talk specifically about, how do you get to where you want to be. So now we know what your starting point is. That's very clear. You know where you want to go. That's very clear. We've talked about some options in terms of education and gaining experience. Now, what are some specific career paths that we can talk about? There are technical career paths into project management. There are individual contributor roles on larger project teams in organizations that value project management. You'll see things like business analyst, project coordinator, project controller, project scheduler, project assistant. The names go on and on. So we'll talk about different career paths there. And from a management background too, do you have management experience? Do you not? At one point, I got into project management as a people manager, as a functional manager, and essentially kind of created my own projects and ran them. So we're going to talk about some career paths there. Professional affiliations. So these are different organizations we'll talk about that are regional and international organizations. Again, it's kind of linked to the certification section, but this is the type of information that I would have just killed for somebody to sit down and walk me through back in 2004, so I had a good idea of what the landscape was and what options were out there. And when it comes to like professional affiliations or organizations, what's the benefit for me to join these things, and what will I get out of them? How much do they cost? All that kind of thing. One of the experiences that I had earlier with professional affiliations was with the PMI. I thought in the very beginning that you had to be certified before you'd be allowed into the organization. I thought that's how it worked. So for a long time I didn't join because that's how I thought it was, until I found out that no, you can be a student and you can join, and you can actually get a really great rate if you're a student when you join. You don't have to be certified or anything like that, and there's some pretty big benefits to joining before you're certified. Networking, we'll talk about that. This is something that I've gotten rather good at, I think, in the last few years. In terms of we'll split it off into online networking through websites, like through blogs, through LinkedIn, through email, Twitter, different things like that, and then offline as well. So in person, local organizations, local groups. How do you do the networking? How do you tap into your network without burning it out? If you're actively looking for a job, what's the right way to approach people that are in your network so that you're coming across in a good way? So we'll talk quite a bit about networking. And then the last one is going to be really the nitty-gritty. A lot of the stuff up till now has been some theory and some let's talk about you and where you at and things like that. The pursuing jobs one, the last one, I may rename that as well. We're going to get into the nitty-gritty here, so there's going to be a lot of screen sharing going on with this one. So we're going to talk about selecting an organization and making sure that you're trying to get into, that you're targeting an organization that you can grow in as a project manager. We'll talk about resume writing. We'll talk about the cover letter, building a portfolio for yourself, which is a thing that I'm huge on. References, interviewing. The interview is a big thing, obviously, and I've interviewed hundreds of people as an interviewer, and I've also been the interviewee quite a few times as well. So we'll talk through that, specifically in the context of getting started in project management. And the offers. So when you do get offers, how do you handle them, the negotiation process. I'll share some of my experience there. So we'll move on, and I will talk a little bit about my career. I'm pretty long-winded, so it'll probably last a while, but you can kind of skip forward if you want to.